Alrighty. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for Wednesday, Hump Day, August 12th, along with Ross Benjamin from Ross Benjamin Sports. Mr. Benjamin, how you doing?
It's all good, Ron. Hey, 11 a.m. hockey today. You got to be even more like a little kid at Christmas this morning.
Smiling like a butcher's dog right now, Ross.
Yeah.
And, hey.
What a game, that Tampa Bay game yesterday. Wow, 5 overtimes in Corpusalo. You got to feel sorry for the kid. 85 saves. Incredible, Ron. Most ever in an NHL playoff game.
You know what? I had so many emotions and memories going through my mind, like the LaFontaine goal, the Ron Tugnut 73 saves night or 70 saves night. Yeah. It's just, playoff hockey. You can say what you want, and listening to Milbury on the, we got to shorten this. You know what? Leave
it alone.
It's fine the way it is.
Yeah.
And people, that's what makes this so. It makes.
I know. What was he implying? I mean, what a bonehead he is, honestly. He was implying almost like after 2 overtimes you should go to a shootout because it takes too much out of the team. Well, you know what? It's part of playoff hockey. Yeah. You know what I mean? That would be terrible if they did that, Ron.
I think he wanted to be in bed by 9 and
no kidding.
Bothering his.
Oh, he was thinking he had to do the Boston Carolina game still. He didn't know at that time they canceled it. Yeah.
That's funny. But you know what? Great hockey yesterday. We got 11 o'clock game here today. Ross, baseball is in full throttle. The NBA, the selections we give out are solid or money. Again, we talked about this off air. I had Portland on the money line yesterday. You got to push. And you know what? Hey, what can you say about Damian Lillard? This guy has got a friggin' chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, incredible. Just carrying that team on his back. And, very exciting final 2 days, because Thursday, I believe, is the last day of the regular season. And there's a log jam for that number 8 and number 9 seed in the West, Ron. There's like 4 teams all bunched together. So it should be an interesting couple of days and some meaningful basketball in the NBA, specifically in the Western Conference.
Well, like Terrell Owens would say, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah. Hey, let me just say this. I listen to a lot of stuff on playoffs, whether it be in the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball. There's nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs. Unfortunately, in the sports betting industry, it garners the least attention out of the major 4 sports that we deal with, Ron. But the intensity level, look, there's no fans in the stands, and the intensity level is still sky high with these players. Yeah, I mean, to me, there's nothing more entertaining than any Stanley Cup playoff hockey.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, and it's so relentless. Like, it's such a grind. Like, you look at these guys at the end of the Stanley Cup playoffs, they just look like they just went to a war or something. Like, they come out battered, bruised. They just
guys are playing with broken leg. I mean, I'm being a little bit exaggerative there, but guys play through a lot of hurt and pain during the playoffs that normally would keep them out for 2 to 3 games during the regular season. So it's just the competitive nature, the intensity, playing for that Lord Stanley Cup. More than how much they will make per man at the end of the year. It's just, there's a lot of tradition there.
Yeah, no, it's a grind. It's a real grind. And it's a relief when they win, right? And it sucks for the other team because they just went through the same grind, and, someone's got to win at the end of the day. Now,
I remember I'm a big Buffalo Sabres fan, as you know, and I'll never forget being at the Stanley Cup Finals for a couple games in '99. And me as a fan, it drained me after they lost, and how they lost with that Brett Hull toe in the crease. Yeah. It just, it takes you like a week to recover as a fan. You know what I mean? I can imagine if you went through 4 series and then having to lose in the finals like that.
Yeah, what a load of crap that was. When you look back now, it's like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Toe in the crease.
Yeah.
All right, Ross. So, people who are interested in our hockey picks can get them each and every day right here at atsstats.com. Also, Yesterday, we had a pretty good day giving out our selections. At the end of the show, we give out the 80% club stats, and you had a system stat that won the under in the Seattle game.
Texas, Seattle. Yes, the
Yeah.
game finished 4-2, went under 8.5.
And I gave out the Cincinnati Yankees 2-team parlay. So, you know what? The 80% club and the system stats really, prevailed yesterday. And we're going to have another system stat at the end of the show. So stick around, folks. You don't want to miss these ones here today for Wednesday, Hump Day, August 12th. Now, we do have a 1 o'clock game here, Ross. I will there's the system stats. I know we normally kick off. I'll go real quickly just to see what the SBI was yesterday, because I know a lot of people look at that and they want to see.
Hey, by the way, let's do an update on our paid selections. You went 4-1 yesterday, correct?
Yes.
And that follows what you were the day before. What were you, 4-0 the day before that?
4-0 the day before, yeah.
Boy, oh boy. Mr. Raymond, I'm going to have to buy you a new wallet for Christmas because you're wearing the one out you got in your back pocket there.
Yeah.
I went 1-0-1. Like you alluded to, I had the push in the Portland game, but I did have the Milwaukee Brewers minus 110. That now makes me 27-12 with my last 39 paid picks. And Ron, I've the last 14 days, I've had 12 of those 14 result in winning days.
Wow. And folks, you can get Ross Benjamin's picks and my selection each and every day right here at atsstats.com. And you know what? Give it a test drive for like a week. I always say, the day is nothing because everybody can have a bad day. Give it a week. See if it helps you increase your bankroll. And, sometimes when you get picks from professionals, you can see the mindset in the picks. And, then eventually you take the training wheels off and.
And let me just say this, Ron. Again, we give out free picks. I usually do Monday through Friday. You do on your website. People got to realize we want to win anything we give out to the public, and that includes free picks. But free picks, there's a reason why they're free. They didn't qualify in whatever we're selling for that day. So keep that in mind, folks. Nobody's telling you that we're not trying to win the free pick, but at the end of the day, it's like going into a restaurant. If you like hors d'oeuvres, you eat, okay? Sometimes hors d'oeuvres are terrible for a week or so, but the entrees are great. Right now, we're on a run with our paid picks. So, spend a little money to make a lot of money is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's like free bread at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
bread,
exactly.
Dough, money, it all rhymes together.
Yes, sir.
All right. Looking at the 7-day average here, Ross, again, favorites just, winning 10-4 yesterday. 4-6 was the dog the day before. We're getting a little bit of that checkered pattern I keep talking about. You see right here, 6-9, 12-3, 4-6. So we're having intervals here of dogs and favorites, which after a big favorite run, now if you go according to that, we should have a dog day today. But, we talk about the over starting to come in and slowly creeping. Look at that, eh, Ross?
Yeah.
8-6, 7-3. So the fallen knife, if you caught the fallen knife there the last couple of days, riding the overs, you've cashed a nice ticket. And look, we're in a neutral market here for over. So keep riding those overs, folks. I think, we're still due for a few more over days.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Those favorites of 106 to 150 again yesterday. Money line favorites of 106 to 150 in Major League Baseball, making a killing so far this year. 6-1 yesterday.
6-1?
Yeah. And the favorites of 151 or greater, 4-3, but you lose money. So that trend just continues. It's amazing.
And to me, it's because of the shortened season. There's more. It's like the NBA. If you look at the NBA finals right now, the restart, the first 3 games, everybody's playing for the finals. Now there's a sense of like, okay, you know what? I'm putting in the backups. I don't care if we win. Well, Damian Lillard cares, but but there's some teams who are mailing it in right now, and you can see it in their body language. You can see it, and you know where I see it the most? On the bench of the players acting like too loose. Yeah. And as a coach, a football coach, that would drive me absolutely crazy seeing that. Hey guys, don't get into this culture environment of being loose and have fun, but just keep it real.
Yeah, I mean, it almost reminds me of some of the Olympic games, U.S. versus Senegal or the U.S. bench is, they're laughing by 2 minutes into the game. I mean, that's because of the lopsided nature of those games. But my point being is the intensity level. It's a team like the Lakers too, I mean, there's a team that's mailing it in right now. The Clippers, they've been up and down. Boston's been up and down, although they've been much better late. Milwaukee's been, look, Milwaukee finished the year terribly too, Ron. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not terribly, but they went 0-3 in their last 0-3 straight up in ATS in their last 3, and that's carried over to the restart.
Two teams I can't figure out yet is Miami and Boston. Like one day they look like world beaters, the next day they're beating the world.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, we got Chicago White Sox taking on Detroit Tigers. We have the Tigers finally lost the game yesterday, 8-4 against the White Sox. Now Dylan Cease goes today. It's a 1-10 start today against Matthew Boyd, where the Tigers are 4-2 in his starts. And looking at the line on this game. Now, the line, we took early lines this morning, so the line could change here today, folks. So please look at your resources, your sportsbook, to get the latest lines. Ross, the computer likes White Sox 4 to 1.5, the over-under at 5.15, and the Kogo at 55%.
Yeah, that Matthew Boyd stat on 4-2 when he starts is wrong because he's only made 3 starts this year.
Okay.
9.20 ERA and a 191 WHIP in those 3 starts, so he hasn't been very good. Dylan Cease, 3 versus the Detroit Tigers last year, a 3.38 ERA. Boyd, 4 versus the Chicago White Sox last year, a 4.87 ERA. Chicago 7-3 on the road this year, Ron. Tough call.
Yeah. Tough, yeah. And one, the 10:49, the 110 pitch, so it's a tough one to handicap. Arizona taking on Colorado. Now this is going to be a 3:00 start. We talked about the game here this morning. The bullpen, shaky for Colorado, letting all those runs come in when they're leading 8-2, going in the bottom of the 9th, and they were one hit away from tying up that game, and probably playing as long as Columbus and Tampa Bay. But
no kid.
Yeah,
so Ron, that game was 2-2 going into the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah,
Colorado scores 6 in the bottom of the 8th, and Arizona comes back with 5 in the top of the 9th. Talk about terrible bullpens. Wow.
Well, Coors Field, that's all I got to say. That ballpark, a bunt looks like a single in the blooper.
No kidding. And you said before this series started, you said, Ross, we got to start seeing some high-scoring games at Coors Field because they haven't happened so far this year. 15 runs and 20 runs combined in the last 2.
Now, Colorado, 12-5 on the season. The last 2 games have gone over. The last 3 have gone over for Arizona. And looking at the starting pitchers today, Luke Weaver going for Arizona against Antonio Sensatella. Now, the bookmakers have made Arizona minus 112 price. I don't know what the price is right now. That was this morning. So I'm looking at it's minus 109. So in that ballpark. Computer likes Arizona today, 6.29, 5.51. The over-under set 11.8. 57% chance this is going to go over total. Could be an overs game here too.
The sports books agree with me on Colorado isn't as good as the record is because yesterday Arizona was a favorite. Today they're a favorite, despite the fact Arizona being 7-11 and Colorado being 12-5. Ron, the books ain't that nice. There's a true indicator to me. However, Luke Weaver's been horrible, Ron, so far this year. 0-3 with a 12.20 ERA, and on the other hand, Antonio Sensatella, 3-0 this year with a 2.65 ERA. Both bullpens, like I alluded to, very bad. Colorado, though, 5-1 in day games this year, Ron. Arizona, 1-4 in those situations. Really mixed bag here when I look. I could go on and on about the information in this game, but to make a long story short, I'm getting a lot of conflicting data. And when that happens, I stay away.
Yeah, and you know what? Colorado, 12-5, starting to, can't win forever. But I'm looking at value. You're getting good value at Colorado here because I had them at minus 167 in this spot, and you're getting dog money. So if you do like Colorado, take a deep breath and wish for the best. Oakland taking on the LA Angels. Now the A is a minus 107 price, and I'm just looking at the latest here. Yeah, we're right there. We're in the same ballpark. The over-under set at 9. Now you got Griffin Canning going here today for the Angels. Chris Bassett for Oakland. Now, according to our stats here, and, we had a little bit of issue with our stats this morning, so hopefully we got that figured out. According to our rain report, the under is 3-0 and Bassett starts this year, and Oakland 12-6, coming off a 6-0 shutout yesterday, and looking at the computer pick, 4.54, 4.15, the over-under at 8.69. A little bit of the Colorado situation here. Are they going to hit their little bit of a losing streak right now? Oakland is, going up against the Halos, and a 39% chance of this game going under the total today, 66% chance of winning with the Angels. This is another tight one, Ross.
Yeah, I don't agree because I think Oakland's a much better team than Colorado. Let's not lose sight of that. I do understand that they couldn't keep up that pace they started the year with. I believe they started 12-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
The LA Angels, on the other hand, Ron, well, we thought they'd be much better than what they are, and they're starting to come on a little bit now, especially hitting. Chris Bassett, there's a reason why Oakland is 3-0 in his starts. He's got a 1.08 ERA and an 0.90 WHIP in those 3 starts. Griffin Canning's been pretty good in his 3 starts as well, with a 3.14 ERA. However, I take that back. This is a telltale sign here, Ron. I talked about this the last couple days. Canning a 3.14 ERA in his 3 starts this year, Ron, but a 1.61 WHIP, wiggling out of a lot of jams. So watch out. That's a danger sign there when I see that.
Yeah, I do have a nice little home stat here on teams that scored 6 runs in their last game. Home teams are 15-4 straight up in their next game this season.
Is that this year?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty
strong.
solid. Yeah. You know what? And there's a reason why the line's -107. The bookmakers want you to think about it.
Yeah, sure. It's a tough call. It's a tough call.
Yeah, flip a quarter in the first 3 games here, man. This is that's going to be one of those days. I think it's time to watch some hockey.
The only reason I'd have a lean toward Oakland in that situation is it's hard to sweep a quality team, and I still believe Oakland's a quality team. I believe they'll win the AL West, and the Angels they are coming back nicely, but Chris Bassett I like a lot better than Griffin Canning as well.
Yeah, and you're right. To sweep a C neutral type team, they got to win at least one of these 3 games. Yeah, so I agree. Now Chicago Cubs taking on the Cleveland Indians. Now the Tribe, a -119 price, coming off a 7-1 loss yesterday to John Lester and the Cubs, and now looking at today's line, 119, 7.5 is the over/under. Forecast leaning with the Cubs again, 4.81, 4.52, over/under 9.33. 53% chance of this game going over the total. And our value edge, we had the Cleveland Indians at -122. So we're fair market value when it comes to shopping for the price. And looking at the percentage play, very low. And that's because both teams are having exceptional start to the season. 10-8 for Cleveland, but not as good as Chicago, 11-3. But 2 winning records nevertheless. Carlos Carrasco going for Cleveland and Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs.
Kyle Hendricks, great at Wrigley Field over the last couple seasons, but the polar opposite on the road. Cleveland yesterday, Ron, they gave up 7 runs. First time they've given up more than 4 runs all season long, and we're 18 games in for the Indians. So, but that's the good news is they're pitching very well. The bad news is they continue to struggle to hit. This is a Cleveland team that scored 2 runs or less in 11 of 18 games this year, but it shows you how good their pitching is because they're 10-8, despite those anemic offensive numbers. So, again, 6 of one and a half a dozen of the other in this one.
And you're right. And look at the over-under record, right? 4-13-1, depending on the line you got, the total you got. And that's why you're seeing 7.5 because, normally you got Kyle Hendricks against Carlos Carrasco. You probably got 8.5, 9 maybe as a total. But, the adjuster, right? The bookmakers are using the adjuster, and they're just asking you to bet the over here at 7.5.
Cubs are 25-10 over the total since last year as a money line underdog of +100 or greater. And right now, I believe, Ron, they're at like plus 125.
Yeah. Home teams coming off a loss as a home underdog, 27-14-1 to the over this season. So,
wow, there
yeah,
you go.
could be a strong play here. Now, the Buffalo Blue Jays taking on the Miami Marlins. And, those baby blue uniforms that remind me of the old, the old
I love
Wayne
them.
Ward days in Toronto and Barfield and all those guys. And looking at the line, minus 168, over under set at 8.5. ATS forecast going with the Jays here, 4.78, 3.8. The over under at 8.58. Now the bookmakers have a big line here, minus 168 on Toronto. Nate Pearson, young phenom. They haven't won yet for him. They're 0-2 in his starts. Jordan Yamamoto going for seems like I've been saying his name forever. The Marlins. I don't know. I don't know. This Marlins team is tough to figure out right now. With the COVID, they're coming back. They had some really good success. 77% chance of this game going over the total today, Ross.
Yeah, there's 7-1. Look, I'm going to be frank. Their 7-1 start was a fluke. Okay, I mean, this team will have a losing record by the time the year's over. They didn't have any talent to start with. Not they didn't have any talent, but they weren't a very good team to start with. Everybody in Major League Baseball's got talent. Not a very good team to start the year. They overachieved early on. They won some games with their AAA players they called up because of the COVID-19. Now they've lost 3 in a row. And you're right, Nate Pearson, the 2 starts, a 2.70 ERA and a 0.90 whip. It's about time they start rewarding this kid. I just don't like the high price in this game, especially if you look at the fact that Toronto is 8-27 since last year after a win by 2 runs or less. And yesterday they're coming off a 5-4 win against Miami.
Yeah, if you like the total here, Ross, I think the under is where you might be leaning. See, the thing I don't like, the percentage play is not there. Yeah. That's the only thing that would take me off this game is the percentage play. But teams this season, road teams coming off a loss, or a 3-game losing streak, 5-12-1 to the under in their next game. So a bit of a little system trend pointing to the under according to past teams in this exact same situation. But the percentage play, to me, Ross, talks me out of it. We got Kansas City taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Now the Royals, coming off a 6-5 loss yesterday to Chris Bubic and Bubic pitches for Kansas City. He was the starter against Castillo and the Reds. And looking at the line here, minus 107 price, over under 9.5. Forecast going to lead with the Royals here, 4.69, 4.57. The over under 9.26. Last 2 games for the Reds have gone over the total. You got a 53% chance of this game going over the total today. You got Wade Miley against Brad Keller. You know what? Another very game with low prices.
Yeah, I mean, the Cincinnati bullpen, right? Again, they had a 5-1 lead yesterday, and they gave it up and had to win 6-5 in extra innings, I believe. Wade Miley, 1 start this year, not very good. 5 earned runs allowed in 1 2/3 innings pitched. The guy's a fossil. He's been around forever. And Cincinnati, by that bullpen that I just alluded to, Ron, their last 7 games, a 9.27 ERA, a 1.88 whip, while Kansas City's bullpen's been very good over the last 7 with a 1.98 team ERA. Kansas City's also hitting over their last 7 games, 5.6 runs per game and a 854 OPS. That's not bad at all. And Cincinnati has cracked a lot of home runs at home this year. I believe they're averaging over 2 home runs per game at home at a Great American Ballpark this year.
Atlanta Braves taking on the New York Yankees. Yankees minus 180 price here. I'm going to see what the latest price is on the Yankees. I saw that go up and down.
I think a lot has to do. They don't know if Aaron Judge left that game early yesterday, and it was inexplicable because it was 8-3. It was still early in the game, basically 5th, 6th inning. So I think that has a lot to do with the no line. It didn't open with the line. I know that. What is it now? 180?
180. Yeah, it's 180. Yeah. Totals at 9.5. Now coming off a 9-6 win yesterday. It was one of our system plays that we gave on the 80% club. Masahiro Tanaka going today against Huascar Noah of the hopefully I pronounced that right, of the Atlanta Braves. And the last 3 games for Atlanta have gone over the total, and 11-6 for the Yankees, 11-8 for the Atlanta Braves. I think that's a quiet 11-8.
Yeah.
You know what? Can't believe it. They've already played like 20. You know, we're 33% into their games right now. When you think about it, you know, getting close to that 20-game mark for both teams. Well, for Atlanta, anyways. And looking at the Kogo here, Ross, at 44%. Now, I had the Yankees at -135 and had the Braves at -120 as a price on the value. You're getting good value with Atlanta. I just don't know enough about Oscar Noah here to take the Braves here today. I just hate going against the Yankees anytime, especially at home.
Yeah.
If I do take them, I'd rather take them off a win or a couple of wins because, you know, law of average theory.
Yeah, a couple things here. Atlanta, that trend continues, Ron. I mentioned it yesterday. 10-1 as a favorite this year.
Yep.
They're now 1-7 as an underdog. And the New York Yankees have hit 15 home runs in 6 home games this year. That's incredible. And the big thing here that really drew my attention is the Yankees have a little trouble with consistency of late. It's nothing to be alarmed with, but they have gone 0-3 in their last 3 following a win.
No, you're right. And looking at the stats here, I don't know. I show 0-6 as a road underdog. I'll have to dig deeper into that one. But here's one stat that
there's possible they're 1-1 as a home underdog too. Okay, it's 1-7 as an underdog this year. So.
Okay, so I got them 0-6 as a road underdog.
Yeah,
and
that's
you know what?
Probably correct.
Yeah, and sometimes when the lines are pick 'em, you know, depending on the spread.
Yeah.
But here's one stat that I always look at: the strength of schedule. You know, I'm pretty big on that, Ross.
Yes, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, to me, it's you play towards your competition, and sometimes, and right now, it's reminding me of the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks prior to the COVID break, they'd beat everybody, but as soon as they get an alpha team, like one of the top tier teams, they struggle, and that seems to be the case with Atlanta. 1-4 straight up on the road against A-type teams. A-type teams, Ross, for people who are new in the Rain Report system, are teams that have a 60% or higher win percentage, and those are your alpha, your World Series contenders type thing. And you know, Atlanta struggles against those type of teams. Looking at the next game, we got Baltimore taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, you know what? I think yesterday I gave a little slight edge to the Orioles, but that game should have been over on a pop-up, I think. Watching the highlight, you know, with all the hockey, like a kid in the candy store yesterday with a converter going all over the place. But I saw one clip where an infield, I don't know if it was an infield fly or whatever, but somebody dropped the ball and then just kept the game going. And Baltimore ended up winning that game 10-9. Now, Wade LeBlanc goes today for the Orioles, taking on Zach Eflin of the Philadelphia Phillies. Bookmakers here, Ross, got the Phillies at -181. But hear my dog snoring in the background.
Hey, we're boring them.
Speaking of underdogs.
I hope the people out there are listening and watching aren't as bored.
Yeah. Where's Rusty? You all right, Rusty? Okay. Baltimore, 7.52. The Phillies, 4.42. The over-under set at 11.94. Sees a high-scoring game in the Kogo at 56%. Somewhere you might want to lean today here, Ross. But, hey, don't look now, folks. Baltimore on a 4-game win streak.
Yeah, you know what? I joked about this yesterday, but Baltimore is 0-4 against Miami this year and 8-3 against everybody else, Ron. Go figure. Wow. Yeah, so, hey, Wade LeBlanc, another fossil. 3 starts with a 6.91 ERA and 4 home runs allowed in 14 in the third innings. What else do I got for you here? Philadelphia is 1-6 against right-handed starters this year, which they're going to be, but they're 4-1 versus lefties because LeBlanc is a lefty. And the Phillies have hit 17 home runs in 10 home games this year, but their bullpen, Ron, the Philadelphia bullpen, 10.19 ERA, 198 whip, and 10 home runs allowed in 35 and a third innings pitch. So not very good.
Yeah, not, you know what, you better pray if you got the under with those guys, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I would correct myself. It's 10.19 ERA in the last 7 and 10 home runs allowed on the season in just 35 and a third innings pitched. You know, in Baltimore, 22 home runs in 15 games this year. That's sort of surprising to me.
Yeah, they're the surprise team along with Minnesota to me. But you know what?
Ron, how's Minnesota's surprise team? They won a division last year. That's a team that won over 100 games a season ago, buddy.
Yeah, no,
they hit over 300 home runs last year.
Yeah, no, correct. But maybe because they don't have that sexiness of the Houston.
Yeah, it's a small market. I get
the small market thing. That's what I'm getting at.
I've been meaning to say that to you the last few days. You keep bringing that up, so I had to call you on it.
There you go. Good. Glad you did. Speaking of the Twins. All right, San Francisco taking on Houston. Now Houston 7.06 to San Fran 5. Over under set at 12.06. That's the total. Minus 162 price on Houston. The over-under set at 10. We got Trevor Cahill going here today against Zach Greinke, 0-4. I thought we had him the other day against, but I'll have to check that stat again. Now, the last 3 games for Houston have gone over the total, or maybe there was a rain out that game. I don't know. The last 2 have gone over for San Francisco. The Giants 8-11 on the year, 7-10 for Houston. And looking at the Kogo, 31%. So a good chance of this game going under the total today. But, at 12.06 just stands out like a sore thumb.
Again, Houston's bullpen blew a game yesterday. I've been picking on him for the last week, and I'm going to continue to pick on him. And like you alluded to last week, Ron, something ain't right with those Houston Astros.
Yeah. No, again, I think you mentioned it, with Verlander on the shelf. Losing Cole, Greinke, he's not no spring chicken. This it's not the same, and with that, skepticism in the offseason, and it just, misery loves company, and right now they've got a bit of it with them. Now, speaking of those Twins, Ross, those 11-7,
those surprising Twins,
those surprising 11-7 Twins, but hey. Coming off a 6-4 loss yesterday, the Kenta Maeda going here today for the Minnesota Twins up against Eric Lauer today of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Brewers 7-8 on the season. A win today gets them back to 500. From a team perspective, I know that's something if I'm a coach or the general manager in baseball, that's something I part of my speech today, say, guys, you know what? One game gets us back to 500 here today against those surprising Twins, and let's see what we can do here. But the computer pick sort of likes Milwaukee here, Ross. 5.1, 4.59, the over-under 9.69. 62% chance of winning for Milwaukee, 51 for Minnesota.
Yeah, Milwaukee's one of those teams that are a lot better than the record is indicating right now. And again, they continue to struggle hitting. Now, when I say that, they did put up 6 runs yesterday, but all 6 of those runs came via the home run. They're not hitting for an average. Their on-base percentage isn't very good. Christian Yelich continues to struggle. Yet you're waiting for this team to break out. And maybe yesterday's win coming from 4-1 down, Ron, will jumpstart this team. And Minnesota's bullpen, again, continues to struggle, especially on the road. And Milwaukee's bullpen. And again, I keep mentioning bullpens because it's an integral part of Major League Baseball handicap, and especially in this era right now, Ron, where pitchers, managers hope they can get 5 innings out of a starting pitcher, right? And Milwaukee's bullpen over the last 7 games, a 1.15 ERA and an 0.89 WHIP, while Minnesota's bullpen has allowed 9 home runs in the last 7 games in just 27 2/3 innings pitched. So that can come into play if you get into a tight game. Coming down the stretch between these 2 teams, the better bullpen might be the difference in this contest.
Yeah. The only stat I see here that's popping up is Minnesota 0-5 coming off a night game this year. Now, people say, well, big deal, night game. Well, sometimes, a day game, night game, some teams play better in the day, some play at the night. But, Milwaukee's a dome where I don't think it's retractable, that dome? In Milwaukee at Miller Park?
It is retractable, yes.
Okay. But, anyways, just a stat that I saw right there come across the Raymond report, and I thought I'd just throw it out there for tickles and giggles.
Yeah. Kent Made has been very good this year in 3 starts, Ron. Though 2.65 ERA and an 0.65 WHIP, which is outstanding. Eric Lauer, just 1 start this year. He was horrible in that outing. Got to give him a break because he was off a long layoff.
Now, Washington was my five-star best bet yesterday, Ross. Whenever we talked about it yesterday, we had Scherzer here at a very low price. I think it was 139 was the price, and I couldn't pass up on that. And Washington trying to get back to respectability here at 6-8. Now they're sending Hannibal Sanchez today, and undecided for the Mets. And I'll check the wire in a second. The price again, 156 for Washington, 8.5 the over/under. The Mets are right now, they're not getting any luck. They got guys leaving. They got Stroman just packing it in. 4.63, 3.84, 8.47. It looks like a house of cards right now in New York on the other side.
Yeah, no doubt. And Washington 4-0 on the road this year, which jumped out at me. Ron, very interesting theory that I heard a long time ago from a very wise handicapper that's got more years in than both of us combined. When you get a pitching matchup like you had yesterday with Scherzer and I can't remember, Porcello for the Mets, okay? Those two squared off earlier in the year in Washington, and the Mets came out on top. And his theory was always to go the opposite way if they faced again in the next matchup, and that held true yesterday. Scherzer and Washington prevailed over the Mets.
Hey, law of average, buddy. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, no, it's true. And Washington 3-0 is a road favorite so far. And and I don't know how many road games they played. It seems like every game's a home game for Washington, but I'll have to check their road record.
Yeah, and they played some home games this year where they were actually the visiting team, meaning they hit first.
That's right.
I think it had to do with Baltimore, number one, and then there was, I believe, early in the year there was another situation. Again, I would have to check that.
Yeah, 2-8 at home, 4-0 on the road.
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, talking about this game, 4-10-0 to the under for Washington, 7-11 for the Mets to the under. So the Kogo at 57%. Hey, you know what? Depending on who pitches for the Mets here, the over might be worth consideration. Tampa Bay taking on the Boston Red Sox. Now, don't look now, but Tampa Bay is on a 4-game win streak. Taking on the Bull Sox, and we talked about Boston. We knew this was going to be a tough year for them. 6-11 on the year, 2 straight losses. Beating teams like Toronto, teams they should be beating at home. Zach Godley against Blake Snell today. 157 is the price. 5.1, 4.49. The over/under at 9.59. This one here, I don't know. I'm not laying any. My rule 150.
Yeah.
So. Again, I think the total is where you want to go here today with the over.
Yeah, you want to look at that. It would scare me a little bit with Blake Snell on the mound. I don't know. Boston is they're in for a long year, Ron. The pitching, they're not hitting. It's a combination of both. It just looks like a team that's on the verge of maybe going like 25-35 this year. Yeah.
Seattle taking on Texas Rangers. Rangers a 130 favorite. Over/under set at 8. Forecast going with the Seattle Mariners here. A little bit of an upset. 5.36, 5.31, 10.67. Chances of winning is at 47 for both teams. That's because both teams have 7 wins. 7-12 for Seattle, 7-9 for the Rangers. Now, 48% chance of this game going over the total. You got Jordan Lyles up against Taijuan Walker today. You know what? This one here, if you dig deep into this one, if you go with the law of average, because Seattle won the first one in a blowout, and then Texas won yesterday 4-2. Maybe go back the other way here in Seattle, taking the value with Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, it would make sense, especially in a matchup such as these. Two teams I don't see making the postseason this year, even with the expanded playoff format. And Texas playing a lot of low-scoring games at home this year.
San Diego and the Dodgers. Talk about a great series so far. Dodgers winning the first 2, Padres winning the first 2, right?
Yep.
And Padres on a 3-game win streak right now. Last 2 games gone under for both teams. Now you got Julio Urias going against Zach Davies today. Didn't he pitch with Milwaukee at one time, Zach Davies?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Milwaukee and Atlanta.
There you go. Another fossil, eh?
Yeah.
And minus 159 is the price. Padres get no respect here, 8.5. Now, coming off a 6-2 win, that's a convincing win. But the Dodgers, a 51% chance of winning, 73% chance of this game going over the total, 4-11-3 to the under compared to 8-10 for the Padres. Looking at this one here, the total is set at 8.5. Padres 4.89, 4.8, 9.69. This game reminds me a lot about the game we talked earlier, Oakland losing the first two. Maybe the Dodgers here got to get that. It'll be very tough for San Diego to sweep the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, exactly. And the price is 159 right now, but I'm going to take a hard look at the value on the run line here because I just can't see the Dodgers being swept at home by a division opponent. And San Diego, even though they won't say so, we both know, Ron, when a team like San Diego goes in and takes the first two of the series and assures themselves of a series win against a quality team like the Dodgers, the perennial NL West division champ, there's a mental letdown. I mean, it's unavoidable. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but I think this is a prime situation where it could occur.
Well, the only thing that scares me, and I'll give you a wow stat, and you'll probably say, really? Dodgers 4-5 at home this season.
Yeah, that to me is compelling. But if you look at their home record over the last 5 years, you just know that that's going to turn sooner or later. It's not like they had an overhaul with this roster.
Don't let me take out my Janet Jackson card out here, Ross. Yeah, that didn't qualify as a Raymond tickler. That's not a Raymond tickler. That's not a no. But if you're going to win a World Series, you got to win your home games. Yeah, you got to. To me, in sports, you don't win your home games. You'll be.
I would tell the listeners to keep an eye on the Dodgers as a play at home, but most times than not, you're going to be laying a lot of juice. Yeah. But don't be afraid to use the run line on occasion in certain situations, especially when there's what I would deem to be a starting pitching mismatch. And I'm not so sure this qualifies, but I'm certainly going to look deep into this, Ron, for a run line play.
All right, Ross, we're going to close it off here with 80% club stat. Now, yesterday gave out Cincinnati and the New York Yankees, which was a nice stat. And I'm going to give out two more here today. The first one, the Houston Astros, when they're a minus 160 to 180 home favorite coming off a left-handed pitcher's last 4 years, 15-1 straight up. That's 93.75%. And for the Atlanta Braves, when they're a 120 to 140 road underdog after a non-conference game the last 10 years, the over, 12-1-0 to the over. So, Ross, Houston, Braves, Yankees over. That's the daily double here today at the Rain Report. 80% club stats, which folks you can get each and every day right here at atsstats.com. In fact, we have 100. What this feature does, Ross, there's we produce over 1,500 stats, 2,000 stats a day, depending on the schedule, and we take the best stats that are 80% or better, and we throw them in the 80% club. And we have 100 stats here today that people can get just by visiting our website and being a member of atsstats.com.
Yeah, Cincinnati and the Yankees yesterday, nice two-team parlay, big favorites, but you know what? They came through. And that Braves and Yankees game shapes up to be a high-scoring game tonight. You got to think the Astros will bounce back at home after a home loss yesterday.
Exactly. Now, Ross, if people are interested in getting your selections, that we know they can get them right here at atsstats.com. And where else can they get them?
At my website, rbwins.com or rossbenjaminsports.com, either URL, whatever you prefer. That will take you to the same landing page right now. I have an NHL top play up for sale, but unfortunately, I think that game has started already. I could tell you right now, I got the Boston Bruins in that game, minus 133 as a 10-star top play. So you might want to keep an eye on that today and see how I do. But $149 for 1 week subscription, $4.99 for a 30-day subscription. Folks, 12 of the last 14 days have been winning ones with my paid selections, and 27-12 over that time. That's 69%, folks. And I don't give out big favorites. Yeah,
and you know what? One thing I can say about Ross, he's very selective. He won't force a play. And the same here, Ross. I'm the same way. If I only post what I really like, and as long as I don't have senior moments. But hey, you know what? Pretty good run we're on right now, and people who are interested in our selections can get them each and every day right here at atsstats.com. And folks, if you enjoy these podcasts, please give us a like, and don't forget to share us on your favorite social network sites, either Twitter, Facebook, or wherever you listen to us. Give us a nice share, and don't forget to subscribe to our podcast by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner.
And where else could they hear us from? iHeartRadio, Stitcher?
iHeart, Spotify, anywhere they download their favorite podcast, we're all over the place. We're up on Buzzsprout, and then it sprouts to all the social media platforms. So again, you're on a bus, or you got an hour to kill, listen to the podcast each and every day, right wherever you download your favorite podcast. So for Ross Benjamin, I'm Ron Raymond. This was the Raymond Report for Wednesday, Hump Day, August 12th. As always, shop for value, play those percentages. We'll see you back shortly with another Raymond Report.